Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Unlocking Your Career Potential in Pharma, Personal Insights from an Industry Expert. Today's the first of many episodes in this series called Research Your Life. Here we bring together experts and thought leaders to discuss the hottest topics in research fields. You can stay informed on industry trends, find new opportunities, and learn skills that will take your career to a new level. We cover a wide range of topics from pharma, biotech, medical devices, and healthcare professionals. Today's topic is particularly interesting and something lots of you might have experienced in the past. We're discussing imposter syndrome, projecting a confident message, and building your personal brand. I am so excited to be joined by our special guest, Michael Sadek, who will be taking us through his personal journey and the key tips he has gathered along the way. Welcome, Michael.
Hello. Hi, Julia. Hi, everyone. I'm very pleased to be with you all today. And I would like to welcome you from wherever you are attending right now in the world. I'm looking forward to an exciting webinar and sharing with you some of my personal insights on my personal journey to help you, all of you, advance your career wherever you are right now.
Awesome. Let me give a little bit of background before we dive right into the topic with Michael. Michael's a medical affairs associate director with over 15 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry in cardiovascular, respiratory, women's health, and infectious diseases across all stages of product life cycle. Impacting the lives of patients is what he's deeply passionate about and also the center of everything he and others do in medical affairs. My name is Julia Heesen. I'm the Senior Growth Marketing Manager here at Research Solutions, and I'll be moderating the conversation today. Let me cover some quick housekeeping items and give you a brief overview about the company behind Research Your Life, Research Solutions, and then I'll hand over the mic to Michael. So you're all in listen-in mode. You don't have to worry about noise in the background, your microphone whatsoever. So don't worry about that. We do have a dedicated time at the end of the webinar for your questions. So if you see in the Q&A feature down on the Zoom bar below, you can add your questions there as they come up. As I mentioned, we'll cover them all in the end, but feel free to add them as soon as they come to mind so you don't forget about them. And if you want to share this webinar later with any colleagues, want to rewatch, you have to jump earlier. We'll be recording this and sending you the recording later today. So about Research Solutions, founded in 2006, Research Solutions, also called reference desks, so you'll hear people calling it both ways, provide solutions that simplify and streamline how organizations discover, acquire, and manage scientific articles and data. More than 70% of the world's pharmaceutical companies, emerging life science firms, and other R&D-driven companies rely on us for one-click access to scientific literature delivered within seconds right to the user's inbox. So, Michael, now I'm handing it over to you. What led you to become an expert in the pharmaceutical industry? How did it all begin?
Okay, so thank you so much, Julie, for the introduction, and thank you for inviting me to be with you all today. So actually, when I'm reflecting back on my career, I remember myself as a fresh graduate joining the pharma industry with not so much info in my mind about how it is set up. I mean, like just one of my friends approached me and said, hey, you know, pharma companies are a good track for people who studied pharmacy. And I thought, okay, I'll be happy to join it. But I never thought that my career journey will take me to where I am right now or to the experiences I have shared. I never imagined in my life that I will be reaching like different levels, interacting with people across the world, and being even presenting something like this right now. This never crossed my mind, but this is like a first step that I would say is like your career journey can take you to different places that you'll never imagine. So be happy and enjoy the ride. Personally, I joined the pharma industry in MSD in 2009. I started working as a sales rep right after I graduated. I worked like for different roles within the sales organization. And then in 2013, I moved to a marketing position as a marketing associate for cardiovascular products. And I spent like a couple of years working in the marketing, but for lots of reasons at that time that did not go well, and I didn't find myself like really enjoying what I'm doing. So in 2015, I moved to the medical affairs within MSD or Merck as an MSL or medical science liaison. And this is where I really unleashed most of my career potential. I started moving up into different roles within organizations. And then in 2021, I moved to Organon. And as some of you may know, Organon is a spin-off company from MSD that was established in 2021. And at that time, they were like moving some people from MSD to Organon to start the new company. And I thought that, okay, this is a nice opportunity for me after spending almost like 12 years in one company to change gears and to go to another company. And actually, this is a journey that I've been enjoying, and I wouldn't imagine that I have enjoyed working in Organon this much. I'm currently working as an associate director or medical advisor, responsible for Middle East, North Africa, and Turkey. And I really enjoyed like working in the medical affairs because, as I was saying, this is really where you impact the patients' lives the most. I mean, this is where you really get close to the doctors, to their patients, to listen to their needs, and be able to develop solutions that can help those patients have better lives. So I come actually from Cairo, Egypt, and this is where I live. So Cairo is a city that is like sunny most of the year. The temperature right now is around 18 or 20 Celsius, and lots of sun during the majority of the year. And by night, it gets really charming with the Nile River and all those lights around it and the busy nightlife of Cairo. We call Cairo, again, the city that does not sleep. So I really enjoy living and spending time in Cairo. And Egypt is very unique that it is a country that have almost 20 different types of mango, and they're all extremely delicious, as you can see from the picture, with different colors, to the extent that we have an annual mango festival in Egypt in the summer, where you can go into different farmers to taste different types of mango. So you can consider this as a free invitation to come and visit Egypt at any time. On the personal level, I'm married for almost 4 years, and this is my wife. She's an anti-money laundering investigator in a bank. So of course, this gives you an idea about who controls the financials in the house. And both of us, we'd love traveling. We love spending time exploring different countries, different cultures around the world. So these are a couple of photos from my engagement and wedding festival and party. And these are a couple of the countries that we've traveled to recently. On another personal level about myself, I'm a person who enjoys good movies, good books, good music, and good food. So I'd like to explore different foods, different cultures, and everything. So if you give me a good movie to watch, a good book to read, a good music, or a good food to try, then you're definitely my friend. And one couple more things about me is that I'm a huge Lego fan. I'm a Lego addict, actually. So all around the house, you'll find those structures of Lego, and all over the floor, you'll find those tiny pieces scattered all around the house. And during the COVID time, I've discovered a passion for kayaking, actually. So I would go maybe on regular basis in the spring and the summer, early on the day, maybe at 6 a.m. to kayak in the Nile River for maybe a couple of hours. And this has been really one of the things that I really discovered and enjoyed in the COVID times. It helps me to relax, to refresh my mind, and get back in shape again. Okay, so to start our talk today about imposter syndrome, just to get things warm up a little bit, we will start with a simple poll, and Julia, here you can help me. The question is, do you experience symptoms of imposter syndrome? And I think the answers will be yes, no, or I don't know what does that mean. So yeah, yes, no, or never heard about it. And maybe you'll have 30 seconds or 45 seconds to respond to the poll.
Yeah, let's wait just a couple of seconds so everybody can put their answers in here. Excited to see what the results will be. Okay, we see some votes coming in. Okay, if you haven't clicked, this is your chance. Okay.
Yeah, and it's okay to vote never heard about it. It's not something it's not something that is relatively known to everyone. So yeah, you can answer that without shame, of course.
Awesome. Okay, ending the poll now. Let's see the results.
Okay, so as I see right now, 68% have indicated that they have experienced symptoms of imposter syndrome, 6% have said no, and 26% said they have never heard about it before. Okay, so that's really interesting. Then let us jump into kind of an introduction to those who have responded that they never heard about it. What does it mean exactly, imposter syndrome? So imposter syndrome is basically perceived fraudulence, or perceiving yourself as a fraud. So this is a syndrome that involves different symptoms and thoughts about low self-esteem, where you usually question your self-worth and your personal incompetence. And these feelings and thoughts usually persist despite your education, your background, your career achievements. And most of people in that case, they would have this common saying is that I don't want to open my mouth and say anything in a business meeting, because whenever I talk or whenever I do something, people will truly see me for who I really am, and they will understand that I'm a complete fraud and I'm not fit for this position, etc. So people who have imposter syndrome experience it in a wide range of settings, and which we will discuss right now. But the issue about imposter syndrome is that it drives you to work harder or to hold yourself to higher standards, whether like in the work ethics, on your like time commitments, etc., to try to compensate for this sense that you always have, is that like you're constantly all the time questioning your self-worth, and at the same time you feel like I'm not fit to be in this place. So as I said, imposter syndrome manifests itself in so many different shapes and types. And the main 5 types of imposter syndrome, sorry, just back previous. Okay. Okay. So as I'm saying, there are different types of imposter syndrome. And if you read online or watch some like videos on YouTube, you will find that people like talking about these manifestations with a wide variety of symptoms on like terms of feelings and thoughts. But just to make things a little bit more structured, there are different 5 main types of imposter syndrome. The first one, which is also the perfectionist, and I think like lots of us online here know a perfectionist, and they have been experiencing it myself, like experiencing it live, including myself. So the perfectionist is a person who always looks for doing things perfectly. I mean, like in this mode of the perfectionist, you want everything to go like 100%. You don't take no for an answer. You don't take like any delay or any shortcoming in anything as a like a positive sign. So you expect everything to go smoothly and perfectly 100% from start to the finish. Of course, any slight errors along the way, any challenges that you face, anything that goes incorrectly, even if it's a very minute and tiny thing, usually you beat yourself up and start asking, "No, I've completely failed. I didn't do this right at all. This event was a complete disaster. This meeting was a complete failure. I mean, this initiative did not succeed at all." So of course you start having those feelings of guilt and shame all the time, just because maybe you achieved like 99% of what you have been planning to do instead of the 100%. The second type is the superhero, and the superhero is like where you always put it in your mind that is like, I'm successful if I'm successful on all fronts. I mean, like if I'm a successful parent, husband, son, or like colleague, if I'm performing well as a manager, if I'm performing well as a teammate, I have to be doing well across all those fronts. I have to play all of those roles perfectly. And I cannot at any time have any kind of imbalance between them. Okay, so at times you might find, okay, I'm a very bad employee because I've not been focusing on work for the last couple of months, because I've been doing something personal, or like I've been passing through a personal issue, or I'm not a good husband, I'm not a good wife, I'm not a good mom, because I'm not able to give my children the time that they need right now because of work pressures. So any like kind of shortcoming in any of those roles, you start to feel at this like no, I'm not doing enough, I'm really bad at doing everything that I'm doing, and I'm a complete failure as well. The third type is the natural genius. So the natural genius is like, I've met a lot of people like playing this role, and I personally assume that role lots of times. The natural genius is the person who assumes that they have it all from the beginning. I mean, nothing will be too difficult for you. Any learning process is like, okay, a couple of days and I'll be totally mastering it. Any new system implemented in your company, you expect that like, I'm the one who is able to fulfill all the demands. I'm the one who is able to transition to this system perfectly and seamlessly. And of course, when things get difficult, as you try to learn something new, any new skill, or like something technical, you'll find that you're feeling ashamed that you're not knowledgeable enough. You say, okay, I expected to do better than this. And you actually kind of tend to ignore the fact that learning process is a curve that goes ups and downs all of the time. The fourth type is the expert. So the expert is like the one who seeks to know everything and seeks to show that they know everything. I mean, like in the one in the meeting room, when everyone is asking about something, yes, I've done it before. Yes, I've tried it before. Yes, I completed this. Yes, I completed that. So the expert is someone who expects that they are on the top of their business all the time, in every single task that they're handling. So of course, in the face of like the slightest lack of knowledge about something, you feel like a failure. You feel like you're not doing enough because you didn't score this well, you didn't master this process, or someone in the room is more knowledgeable than you or have more experience than you are. And then finally, the fifth type of the imposter syndrome, which is the soloist. So of course, as a result of all of those thoughts that you have in your mind, you tend to play it safe. You say like, I will not be involving any other teammates with me. I will do it all on my own. I will put all the work on my shoulders, because if I ask someone for help, they will feel that I'm not competent enough. They will feel that I'm not knowledgeable enough, or they will feel like you don't deserve to be here, or maybe the assignment that I'm taking, it will be taken back from me, because any sign of lack of knowledge or like a lack of experience, or any sign that you basically don't know something in your work, will be perceived negatively by those around you. So you tend to work on your own all of the time. You put all the responsibilities on your shoulder. And of course, you know what happens in the end. You will get lots of work overload and you will feel burnout most of the time. So again, getting back to our original poll again, after learning about these types and different symptoms of imposter syndrome, do you or did you experience symptoms of imposter syndrome before? And here I will ask Julia for her help with the vote.
There you go.
Of course, now we have to answer yes or no only, because assuming that this will give you some info about the imposter syndrome.
Yes, curious if people already, identify with one or several of the types that you just explained to us.
Yeah, I think that all of us, most of the time, like identify with lots of those roles at the same time. We're playing multiple roles even at the same time, and one or more of those types of imposter syndrome.
Right. Okay, it looks like we've got lots of answers. Okay, ending the poll, sharing results with all of you.
Okay, so now we see that like around 89% have voted yes and 11% have voted no. Okay, which is a good thing. Okay, so for you all, like whether you voted yes or no, I have some good news and I have also some bad news. Okay, so the good news is actually that lots of us feel the same. Okay, so you don't have to be like really ashamed of yourself. You don't have to beat yourself up all the time saying that I'm the one who is like a complete fraud within the team. I'm the one who is like perceived very negatively within the organization. Actually, lots of us feel the same. I mean, we all go through those emotions and those thoughts most of the time. I was going to say most of the time, but lots of us feel the same. I mean, sometimes we all have our career lows at times when we feel like we're not competent enough, or we're not doing enough in the jobs that we have right now. So just try to ease in this burden off your shoulder. Don't think that I am the only one who is feeling like this. Am I the only one who is experiencing that? Lots of us around you and lots of people in the workplace are experiencing those kinds of symptoms. And unfortunately, this is increasing in recent years, especially with all the challenges that we're facing globally. So first, good news, don't be afraid, don't feel ashamed. Lots of us feel the same. And unfortunately, the bad news is that actually lots of us feel the same. So actually imagine that like the amount of hidden potential that we have, the amount of talents that we can deliver in our workplace and our personal lives, if we are not hindered back by those negative thoughts and negative emotions that we have. So yeah, actually it's good that lots of us feel the same, but it's also bad, meaning that we have a huge room for improvement. If we're able to control our thoughts, if we're able to control our negative emotions, imagine how much we will excel in our work, in our personal lives. And if you still believe that having those thoughts and negative ideas is like really bad, I would like to invite you to join the crowd. Those are like lots of super famous people and super productive and successful in their lives and their careers. Like, for example, Maya Angelou, the famous American civil rights activist and poet, Jacinda Ardern, the former prime minister for New Zealand, and one like of the key figures in the political landscape globally. Tom Hanks, of course, the actor that we all love and watched lots of his movies. Michelle Obama, the former First Lady of the United States. And Emma Watson, the English actress and activist. Actually, all of those famous people, if you read online in their like interviews, they all have experienced those symptoms. They would say like, I know deep down inside that I'm not competent enough. I'm not like really good at what I do. Probably on the next book that I write, on the next movie that I make, and the next public speech that I'm delivering, people will see that I'm a complete fraud and they will not trust me anymore. So like people at this kind of, or like at this level of success and influence, and they still feel those kinds of negative thoughts or beliefs about themselves. So actually, don't be so hard on yourself and like accept this fact as like, you can be the next Tom Hanks, the next Michelle Obama. So maybe this is a good sign that you're on the right track as well. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about a bit of my personal journey and how imposter syndrome has impacted my career and my life in a negative way at times. So actually, I told you in the beginning that I joined the sales organization in my company, and then I moved to the marketing organization. And at that time, of course, you know, in the pharma industry, people are always perceiving marketeers as like those are the big guns within the company. Those are like the stars of the company. They are the ones that like thinking about million innovative ideas at the same time, delivering successful initiatives and campaigns, etc. So at that time, I was like feeling that I'm having a self-competition to prove myself. I said like, okay, I have to be perfect in marketing on day one of the job. And I ignored the fact that this is kind of a learning journey. So as time moved by, I started to put like really unrealistic expectations on my shoulders. And I started to experience some negative consequences along the way. So of course, the first manifestation is the feeling of guilt and shame because I didn't get it right from the first time. I was having like lots of challenges, accommodating my mindset, learning new things about like financial forecasting, marketing, blah, blah, blah. And at like the slightest, I wouldn't say failure, but like at the slightest thing that I don't know well or that I cannot practice really well, I would start to have those feelings of guilt and shame as if like I'm a complete failure in the place. And then again, as I said, putting unrealistic expectations on my shoulders, I'm expecting that like I will be the most knowledgeable one in the room, even if like the fact that I am the junior one in the room. So I'll put like all the weight on my shoulders. I'm planning to do everything on my own. I'm planning to succeed and prove myself. And at the same time, again, ignoring the fact that like I'm new to this place, I'm transitioning into a new role, and I need to take time to learn, and I need to take time even to make some mistakes along the way. Of course, that has led to like a very low resilience and desire to quit. So whenever I was faced with those challenges and I find that like this challenge is much bigger than me, I would say to myself, okay, this is not my place. This is not where I belong. I'm a complete failure. Everyone around me is saying this behind my back, but they don't want to come up front and let me know this. So I should be quitting at the nearest opportunity possible for me. Then, of course, keeping under the radar, which was like a disaster to my career. And even in the pharma industry, this is one of the things that I would really discourage you from doing. Keeping under the radar, meaning that like in any meeting, I would just like stay quiet most of the time. I would avoid connecting with people. I would like avoid like showcasing what we're doing because I feel like a little bit insecure, not able to talk fluently with people or not able to express myself clearly, but at the same time having a fear that they will understand that I'm not competent enough for this job. So I was like the invisible man in the room most of the time. And then of course, finally, it comes with like a huge work overload and burnout. We like totally feel like, okay, I cannot do anything anymore. Like if anything is going to fail, then let it fail because I cannot handle this kind of stress and pressure anymore. So this was like a challenging time in my career. And honestly, I'm thankful for being able to pass some of those negative thoughts and emotions and being where I am right now. So the question that comes into mind here is, what should I do? And here I would tell you, unfortunately, forget the magical solution. And since we talked about Emma Watson earlier, so I thought of putting this from the Harry Potter movies. So actually, there is no like a magical spell that you will say that will help you completely get rid of those ideas and thoughts. Actually, there is no like magical potion that you will drink and then in 1 or 2 hours or 1 week or 1 month, you feel like you have completely mastered your imposter syndrome. Actually, it's a kind of a long journey. It's a journey of learning. It's a journey of developing yourself, of growing into a different personality than what you are right now. It's a journey of failures along the way, and it's a journey of successes along the way. And you have to grow into this journey. I mean, there is no magical solution. There is no like 1, 2, 3 that I'm going to tell you at the end of this webinar that you'll follow this kind of prescription. Sorry for being from the pharma industry. And then you'll find yourself completely healed or cured at the end of it. So this is kind of a journey where like I'll just give you some tips and tricks or some insights from my personal journey or from my personal meditation or like reflection on it. And they might help you on the way, just as a lot of people have helped me along the way, becoming where I am, who I am right now, and where I am right now. So I'll give you mainly like 3 simple ideas to keep in mind, and we will explore each one of those ideas in details, and then reflect on how can it help you in your career and your personal life. So the first idea is that humans are built for connections. Okay, so lots of people who feel symptoms of imposter syndrome, they feel like okay, I will keep a low profile in the workplace. I will not talk a lot. Connecting with people might sound like very cheesy. They will feel like I'm doing it just to be exposed and just to be known. While actually the fact is like people are built for connections, like the managers, the executives, your teammates, everyone around you in the world is built for this, and they're actually looking forward to it. So your teammates are actually looking forward to know who you are, what are you able to do, and they will find like something that you do that is really useful for them. So seize this opportunity. Your managers are looking forward to develop you. No manager will hire someone in his or her team just to embarrass themselves. I mean, like they trusted you for a reason, and at the same time, they want to develop you for a reason. So they will not say, okay, I have my team, let's keep things stagnant as it is. No, actually, people want to develop their like teammates and their like immediate reports. And even at the executives level or the top management in any company, they're actually actively seeking to find those who will be their successors. I mean, any company is built on a sustainable model. They will say that, okay, success means that we have the next generation of leaders and the next generation of leaders. So they're actively trying to pursue the talents and develop them. So everyone is around you is looking to connect with people and looking to connect with you. So don't be shy to just be proactive and start connecting with those people. Even like on the personal side, on the business side, everyone is built for connections. I mean, it's like feels really nice if you connected with someone in your organization. Just send them a message on their birthdays. It will mean a lot to them. Just a message on Christmas, on Chinese New Year, on Diwali, on Ramadan, whatever the occasion that they are celebrating. Just a simple message, it will connect you to those people at a slightly deeper level than the usual. And at the same time, connect with them with the business as well. And this will come in the second thought. But what I want to say is connect, 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 please. Okay, because this is the normal life. I mean, like no one will talk to you as if you're like trying to show off, or no one will see that you're a complete fraud, you're not competent for the job. Everyone is open to connections all the time if done in the right way and in the right approach. The second thing that I want to leave with you today is the following thought. And here I would give you like a simple analogy from the shopping business. So imagine that you want to do some shopping. You'd like to buy maybe a suit for a wedding that is coming, or a dress. You want to buy like a couple of shirts, maybe a couple of swimwears as summer is approaching in some of the countries. So you'll say to yourself, okay, I have my budget. I know where I should be shopping for those items. And then you go to the mall. And then the first store that comes right in front of you is a store like this one. So there is actually nothing there on display. Actually, there is no display at all. There is no like shelves with clothes on it with different sizes and different colors. And you actually step into the place and ask the person working there, hi, do you have anything that I can look for? And they would say, actually, yeah, we have some decent cloth. I mean, like we're not the best, but we have some good things inside. But we actually a bit like shy to show them because we don't believe that they will attract everyone. So if you really want to find out about it, we can go to the back store or like the back room where we have some like storages and things are hanging around everywhere and everywhere, like every size. So you can come inside if you feel welcomed and you can check whatever you want. And of course, you can buy it as well. Imagine that you're facing this situation. You will feel like this is really awkward. I mean, why are they doing this? And then you would go out of the store and then head to the next one where they have like things on display, things with different colors, with different designs, and you'll say, oh, I like that. I might as well go in and ask for the price. I might as well go in and check my size or look for a different color. Actually, this is what you do if you do not connect with people and if you do not talk about what you're doing. You're keeping like under the radar most of the time, saying, okay, I'm good at what I do. At least that's what I think. But if people want to find out more, they can come and ask me. I wouldn't like do this extra mile of stepping out of my comfort zone and talking to people about what I do in work. So actually, this is like kind of the most self-destructive idea that you can do to yourself and to your career. So actually, if you don't tell your story, somebody else will. I mean, we talked in the first point about the importance of connection with people. The second point is that how do you talk about yourself? How do you brand yourself? What story do you tell about your work? What's the image that you're projecting? This is, again, really important. And you don't have to feel the pressure or the stress of I have to deliver the perfect thing to everyone that I'm talking with all the time. Don't be like the perfectionist that we're talking about in the imposter syndrome. But just take it easily. I mean, what are you doing right now in the business? What ideas do you have to improve the processes, the policies that you have in place, the systems, whatever you're doing? Just keep that in mind. I mean, why do you really like doing what you're doing, assuming that you do? I mean, what brought you to this place? Okay, why do you want to work in the marketing, in the sales, in the medical affairs, in the R&D, and whatever, in the policy, communications, etc.? What is your aspiration for your career? Keep those questions in mind and keep those answers in mind, because you're definitely going to connect with people along the way that you need to share this kinds of story with them. Okay, because imagine as like a manager or an executive or whatever, and he goes into a meeting with some people, and you are the only one who is acting like the invisible man or woman in the room, and you don't tell anything about anything. So they, of course, will hear stories from other people, and unfortunately, your story will be completely dropped off the board. So please be encouraged to tell your story. No one expects you to be perfect all the time. No one expects you to do the right thing all the time. They just expect you that you do things naturally and normally. If you're passionate about working in this place, it will be good for a manager to hear that you're happy working in that place. If you have an idea that you have implemented that have improved the situation, share it with them as well. Because at the end of the day, imagine that this manager is the shopper who goes to the mall, and they will say at the end of the day, okay, I like this shop. Maybe I should come back again and get myself like another shirt or another suit or another like t-shirt. Maybe I should get something for my wife and my kids, etc. So if you're the person who is able to project your brand image in a good way, doesn't have to be perfect, you'll definitely be remembered, and definitely you will be in the mind of those people when they're approaching business, when they are looking for people to develop, when they are looking for people to have assignments. So this is the core of this point. Just remember that you need to connect with people, and you need to have your story ready with you to connect with those people when you have the opportunity. Then finally, the third thought that I was going to leave with you is just be easy on yourself. We're all humans, okay? We are facing a lot. Every one of us, I mean, like everyone in this call would definitely agree that they are facing some challenging situation. Whether at your personal life, whether at your job, you may be stuck in a point in your career, you're having a personal issue like an aging parent or a difficult marriage or like some mental health issues. Everyone is going through a lot, okay? So let's acknowledge that, in fact, doing your best might look different each and every day, okay? And this is totally normal. Just drop the idea of being the perfectionist. Just drop the idea of being like the natural genius. Just drop the idea of being like the super mom or super dad or super employee who is able to handle all things at the same time perfectly. Doing our best will definitely look different each and every day. Okay, so sometimes, some days, our best can be the 100% of what we're able to do. Just be honest about it and do it. And sometimes it might be 80%. Sometimes it may be even as low as 20%. So even in those days, just give this 20% and understand that nothing stays the same. Even if it's a bad day, it will not stay like that. If it's a bad month or even a bad year, it will not be like that for the rest of your life. Okay, so here I encourage you, just be easy on yourself. Just acknowledge your limitations. No one of us is perfect, even at the top level of those executives. I remember once that we had this like associate VP or vice president delivering a presentation to the medical function across the world. Okay, so this was like the year-end webinar for the whole function. So the first thing that he said was really striking to me. He said, currently I have like two feelings at the same time. The first one is I am really excited that I'm talking to you all at the end of a challenging year and a successful year. And at the same time, I feel a bit nervous because I'm talking to almost like 500 people online at the same time. So imagine that like this like really important vice president who is really innovative and really accomplished. And he's admitting that he feels nervous because he's talking to a lot of people. And it is like a challenging one that he has to deliver a certain message. So of course, we're not better off than any of those persons. And this is actually the fact that we're all humans. We have our limitations, we have our vulnerabilities, and we have our weaknesses to develop. So be easy on yourself. Acknowledge that you're on a journey, that you're on a long road. Sometimes these thoughts and emotions can like overwhelm you. Sometimes you might be able to control those and advance in your career. So it's the kind of the journey that will define you at the end of the day, not just like one bad day or one bad week or even one bad year. So to bring it all together, or to bridge what we have talked about, we've talked about like the different types of imposter syndrome. We talked about the symptoms. We talked about this different roles that we all play in our lives. Then we talked about the good news and the bad news, and I invite you all to join the crowd Maybe someone of you will be the next CEO for a company. Someone of you will be like the next civil rights activist or the next famous actor that we will all applaud at some points in life. And at the end of the day, this is like the natural. Every one of us is experiencing those kinds of symptoms, sometimes in our careers and sometimes in our lives. Then you talked about forget the magical solution. Okay, this is not like a one presentation that will fix all your troubles. I don't have the magical wand or the magical potion, neither for myself or for any one of you. You just have to go through this journey and trust that at the end of the day, you will grow. At the end of the day, you will be a different person if you try continuously to develop yourself in this aspect. And then finally, the three thoughts or the three ideas that will help you along the way. Humans are built for connections. So seize these connections. And the second thing is that tell your story, please. Don't be the passive guy in the room or don't be the passive lady in the room. And the third one is like, be easy on yourself. We are all humans and we're not perfect. Okay, so that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you all so much. And of course, we'd be happy to take any questions that you have. Julia.
Yes, totally. Thank you so much, Michael. Wow, such a great presentation, and yeah, so on point. Probably all of us feel very connected to most of the things, or even all the things that you just said. So before we dive right into the question, I saw a couple of questions already come in. Let me just briefly, for the ones of you that aren't familiar, I mentioned like research solutions, but our product Article Galaxy yet. And you're looking to access journal articles, book chapters quickly and cost effectively, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead, request a free trial with Article Galaxy, which is our product, and you can learn how you can get up to 28% off of your article spend and 86% of articles delivered within seconds. So using the link researchsolutions.com/sales, I'll add it in the chat in a moment here as well. Feel free to go ahead and yeah, ask for that free trial. Okay, getting into the Q&A. Okay, well, the first comment here says, thank you so much for sharing. It's a wonderful presentation. Just thought I should read that out loud. Thank you so much. And I agree. Okay, here's a question. So what professional development strategies have helped you advance your career in pharma?
Okay, so again, the pharma career is kind of a particular career because as much it's like highly competitive. So that's a fact about it. And at the same time, lots of talents are eager to join this career. So for me, I would say like just two things, like be humble and do all your work, like keep your head to the ground, do your like 110% of what you're able to do. And at the same time, be able to connect with people to share what you're doing. I mean, we're lucky at some points in our careers where we have like a good manager or a good mentor that helped us advance in our way. But at the same time, be ready to connect with people, as I'm saying. Like it's really difficult for a manager to promote someone who doesn't know much about it. I mean, like that's the point even of having an interview with your manager before being hired. They just want to get to know you, make sure that, okay, you're good enough for the job, we can get well with each other in the work. So just be able to connect with your manager, understanding what do they want, what do they see in the business side, and what at the same time you're able to contribute to this position differently. So these are like, for me, the two work morals that I adopt is like, I have to do all my job with all my heart, all my soul, and all my concentration. And at the same time, I need to be connected with people because this is the only way to be seen and understood in the organization. And this is the only way when there is like an assignment or a promotion or something, someone will say, okay, this guy looks really good and what he's doing, I know him. I feel comfortable having this person with me and my team. So that's really much about like a personal connection to each other, if we can call it this way. So for me, those are like the two strategies that I try to put in mind to advance my career.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Here's someone asking, what can you advise a newcomer in pharma?
Okay, so if you're a newcomer, just maybe some thoughts that I would leave with you. As I said in the beginning, I remember myself walking into the first company that I worked in, like a complete, I wouldn't say naive, but like complete freshman who doesn't know much about everything. Just keep your ears open most of the time because you'll need to learn a lot. Of course, you'll need to absorb everything that comes into your way, because defining yourself in the pharma industry can take a little bit of time. I mean, you might join in the marketing and then you decide to shift to another organization. You might be a salesperson that want to advance in the same career, and you will find that with time. So keep yourself open to listening, understanding, learning from those around you. And at the same time, again, start building your own connections. I mean, if you have a good idea, just don't be shy to say it, saying that, okay, I'm a freshman here, so there will not be much accepting what I do. Just put your own fingerprint in what you do, because at the end of the day, you're hired because you're expected to do something. So again, just while opening your eyes and your ears and absorbing everything around you, you'll find yourself a little bit able to see some gaps, because at the end of the day, you're coming with a fresh eye. Then you can start put your fingerprint in things, like developing something small in your own small scale of responsibilities. And this will get you more experience as you move forward. So my advice to you is just like be open to learning. At the same time, be open to exploring new things around you.
Awesome. Got a great other question here, or 2 or 3 questions at the same time. How do you deal with underappreciation? While some achievements in the team are celebrated, while yours are like a pat on the back, how do you visualize and portray the magnitude of the success so they're all funneled together?
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, you're talking about a situation where you feel like your achievements are not very well recognized or celebrated. And here I would like to, maybe you need to explore more what's the reason behind it. I mean, the first thing that comes into our minds is that like maybe there is some kind of preferential treatment within the team, but you just have to explore and understand why, if it's happening that way or in any other way. I mean, part of the success is being able to tell your story as I'm telling you. So maybe at some point you're not able to articulate what you're doing well. This can be one reason, I'm guessing. Maybe another reason is that like you're not connecting with your manager in the proper way, I would say. I mean, just every one of us has his own or their own personality. You get data in a certain way, you'd like to be told some information in the right way. So maybe just try to explore what's your manager's style in connection. I mean, like, do they really like just a short info about what has been achieved, or they would like to get into the details and maybe you're addressing them in the wrong way? So maybe that can be kind of a thought to like explore and think of later. Are you connecting or are you communicating with your manager the way they'd like to be communicated with, or there is some gap in the communication in between? It does not mean that you will have to completely change yourself to accommodate or to please this manager, but just understand that like we are on different wavelengths as humans all the time. So you might get like different ways to address this topic or like bring it at the right time. And lastly, if you feel that like, okay, this is this kind of preferential treatment, perhaps you should be looking for a change in the environment or change in the team. If you feel that like this is particularly happening to me specifically, and of course within your organization, you will find that there are like lots of ways or lots of channels where you kind of phrase this concern and address it in the right way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. And of course, we hope that answered your question. Feel free to add follow-up questions here. Here's another comment and question. What a very brave and informative presentation. Thank you, Michael. Yes, agreed. Thank you for adding that context here. And then the question is, how much do you think remote work contributes to imposter syndrome?
Okay, that's a great question. Of course, the remote work environments has led us to kind of feel those symptoms more and more, because connection with people in real time is a way other thing than just connecting on Teams or in Zoom. You just get to see the person, you just get to see like their body language, if they are like welcoming what you're saying, if they have thoughts or ideas to improve. So most of our work in the virtual life is based on assumptions of what people are meaning by what they say, or like this look or this expression. So it adds on the strain. So it needs us to be like really mentally resilient for all those challenges. You just have to focus that like, I would say personally for this is that sometimes you have to ignore those signals coming from the back of your head that like probably he did not or she did not sound like very enthusiastic about what I said. Because when you meet this person in real life and you get to review back this situation, you say, no, just I was totally fine, but maybe because of like the back-to-back meetings, I was like very busy and I didn't have the time to discuss this with you. Maybe I was like doing something, juggling between work and home responsibilities. So most of the time we would assume falsely that I'm not competent enough, or people are not listening to what I say because of the virtual or the remote working environment. So just first of all, ignore those thoughts coming from your head like lots of the time, and then try to break the pattern of remote work, please. I mean, if you have a chance to go to your office, please do it. I mean that like globally now there is like different perspectives on coming back to work, but people are like having some hesitations. But please, human connections are really important, and you need those kinds of skills if you're able to, if you want to advance your career. You need to people to see you, to listen to you. You need to see those people and listen to them. So I would encourage you again to break the pattern of the remote work environment most of the time, just in order to be able to address those thoughts that you have from time to time on the virtual life.
Thanks. Awesome. Yes, remote work has definitely changed quite a lot. Okay, I see one last question here. How can you approach your manager for advancement of your career when you know that you have delivered a great performance over the year, but have self-doubt to talk to your manager regarding it?
Okay, so the most blunt answer that I would say is just spell it out. I mean, people are more and more appreciating being honest and being proactive. And at the same time, when you're determined about what you do, this will convey the conviction that you have or the enthusiasm that you have to your manager. I mean, it's really difficult for those people who experience imposter syndrome because they feel like shy most of the time. They feel like, okay, is it appropriate if I told my manager I want a raise? Is it okay if I tell my manager that I want to get promoted? Will they think that I'm a greedy person? Actually, no. The good news is no, because lots of us are facing financial challenges all over the world right now. Lots of us want to advance their careers. This is a fact. And at the same time, if you're doing something good, why not to talk about it directly? I mean, if you're interested in this position that in any other team, don't be afraid that your manager will feel like offended that, oh, you want to leave my team? No, it's not like that. Just frame your request in a proper way. And again, choose the right timing, because again, in the virtual environment, especially, it's very difficult to have like a quality conversation with your manager. So try to free up some time from like any other work engagements and just focus on like, I would like to have this 30 minutes with you to talk about my career. Actually, I've been doing this and that, and I started to explore things, and I found myself passionate to do this and that. So what do you think? I would like to move to this position or that team or whatever. And then this will give them the clarity of mind to address this topic. I mean, don't be handling this in like the last 5 minutes of a meeting with your manager, and don't put it as the first thing on your agenda when you talk to your manager. I mean, just address the business as usual and then say, okay, I would like to set a dedicated time to talk about my development and my career, because I have some things in mind and some ideas that I want to share with you. I would also like to hear your opinion. So for me, that will be like a appropriate approach that respects both the time allocation and at the same time showing what you really want and showing that you're really enthusiastic and you're really serious about advancing in your career.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Looks like we've answered, well, better said, Michael has answered all questions. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. We hope, and from the sounds of it, that you've all enjoyed it as much as we did. Thank you so much, Michael, for this very honest presentation. And it's a topic that many of us maybe think about without knowing that we think about it. Maybe we didn't even know what it is before now, only we felt it. So yes, thank you so much for joining. And yeah, we'll have a great rest of your day and afternoon, everyone. And yeah, any
thank you,
additional
Julia, so
questions
much
come up,
for
yeah,
this.
let's follow up.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you for your interaction and for your questions. Of course, I wish you all the best in your careers and your personal lives. And hopefully we get to meet again virtually or physically soon, of course. Yeah.
Yes, making the connection. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.